In the 90s, Trinidad and Tobago, a beautiful oil-rich metropolis, where freedom of religion and association, carnival, party and doubles is the order of the day. This is the story of the 1990 attempted coup.
Hello, hi darling, how are you? How is your schooling in America going? Glad ya in America, girl here is something else, the crime, oh my gosh.
I good yes mommy, out here nice girl, all like Brooklyn. As you know I go to Medgar Evers College, I have my final coming up and I need you to tell me about the 1990 coup back home. I could research it up. But I know you did know Abu Bakr family, so that is why I calling you.
So, ya have ya pen and paper?
Mom, I will tape it, so you can go ahead.
Okay, so where do we begin? The Yashin Abu Bakr that Trinidad know was born on October the 19th, 1941. His birth name was Lennox Phillips. He was not a bad boy growing up and he later joined the police service, but left it and became a Muslim. He later founded his own mosque in 1982 and called it Jamaat al-Muslimeen, but they had nowhere to worship, so he went to the Trinidad Islamic Missionary Guild and they told him that he could use the land at number 1 Mucorapo Road in St. James, so he went there with his followers, started clearing and occupying the land and built his mosque. In 1969, the government did grant land to the Islamic Missionaries Guild of Trinidad and Tobago to build a Muslim cultural center. It was not given to the Jamaat al-Muslimeen, but the land belonged to the city and not the central government. It was not the government place to grant these lands because it did not belong to them. In 1984, a court ordered the Muslimeen to vacate the property and demolish the building they had constructed without the proper paperwork. Abu Bakr refused to comply and served 21 days jail time for contempt of court in 1985. In the mid-80s, the Muslimeen launched a vigilante campaign against the illegal drug trade. Muslimeen members drove drug dealers out of drug areas and seized their cocaine, marijuana and weapons. The Muslimeen were now a paramilitary force and used their reputation to recruit members from the population. After winning the general elections in December 1986, the National Alliance for Reconstruction government implemented policies to deal with economic decline triggered by declining oil prices and unemployment rate had risen. The government of the day introduced austerity measures, spending cuts, cost of living payments were suspended, salaries were cut by 10% in 1990, value-added tax were introduced, tax increases, and the Trinidad and Tobago dollar was devalued. Dissent within the ruling party led to a split within the NAR government. 4 former members of the United Labour Front who were expelled from cabinet formed the Club for Growth, Club 88, and went on to form the United National Congress on March 16, 1988. Trade unions strike on March 6, 1988 and march against hunger on April 22. Nurses engaged in daily ongoing protest. 16 trade unions including the Jamaat al-Muslimeen formed the Summit of the People organization. Hi, Kimberly, are you listening, or have you fallen asleep?
I am here, Mom, listening attentively and also taking notes, so you can continue.
So the hospitals and the government social welfare department had no resources to handle their services. The Muslimeen stepped in offering food, eyeglasses, medical and dental for the unemployed and the homeless, especially for young men. In July 1985, one of Abu Bakr Chief Lieutenants Abdul Karim, a former bank auditor general, was murdered while in police custody. It was ruled by the Court of Appeal that the officers involved concealed the identity of the killer, suspected to be a member of the police service, with the case unsolved. It is widely believed that this event caused the conflict between the Jamaat and the state. In 1988, police raided the Jamaat al-Muslimeen commune and arrested 34 members. Some were charged with outstanding warrants, larceny, robbery, rape, murder and illegal possession of arms and ammunition. This event convinced the Jamaat that the government were being oppressive and vindictive towards the Muslim community. 2 days before the attempted coup, the then communications minister of the NAR government, Mr. Gerald Hadid, informed the then Prime Minister Mr. Anr Robinson of rumors of an attempted coup by the Jamaat al-Muslimeen and asked him to postpone the scheduled sitting that day. Robinson declined, claiming that he took an oath of office and would not deviate from it because of a political threat. On Friday the 27th of July 1990, the Jamaat al-Muslimeen attempted to stage a coup d'état against the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Their first engagement was to bomb the police headquarters on Sackville Street, Port of Spain around 5:50 p.m. It was completely gutted by fire by nightfall. Simultaneously, 42 members of the Muslimeen led by Bilaya Abdullah stormed the Red House, occupied Parliament and took the Prime Minister and most of his cabinet hostage. 22 insurgents led by Yashin Abu Bakr attacked Trinidad and Tobago Television, TTT, the NBS radio station 6:10 AM and the Radio Trinidad 7:30 AM. At 6:20 p.m., Yashin Abu Bakr first appeared on television and announced that the government was overthrown and that he was negotiating with the army.
At 6 p.m. this afternoon, the government of Trinidad and Tobago was overthrown. The Prime Minister and members of the cabinet are under arrest. We are asking everybody to remain calm. The revolutionary forces are commanded to control the streets.
Prime Minister Anr Robinson was beaten, degraded and shot in the lower right leg, when he tried to order the armed forces of Trinidad and Tobago to attack with full force. The forces responded by sealing off the area around the Red House. Widespread arson and looting took place in Port of Spain. But the rest of the country was calm. A state of emergency was declared by the then acting president Mr. Emmanuel Carter at 9 a.m. the following day. Several cabinet members who were not present at the Red House at the time of the attack set up office at Trinidad Hilton. After 4 broadcast by the Jamaat, the army on the night of the attempted coup took control of TTT transmitters on Cumberland Hill and Grand Couva, thus taking TTT off the air. The reactivation of an alternate broadcasting facility initially at Cumberland Hill and then Camp Ogden allowed members of government and the army to disseminate official broadcasts to the public. The Jamaat were isolated and surrounded by the defense force at the Red House and at the TNT television locations with no access to radio or television to spread their propaganda. After 6 days of being cornered and the experience of psychological warfare, every night and the hours of the morning, the Jamaat al-Muslimeen surrendered on August the 1st and were taken into custody. The Jamaat al-Muslimeen members who surrendered were tried for treason, but the Court of Appeal upheld the amnesty offered to secure their surrender and they were all released. The Judicial Committee of the Privy Council later invalidated the amnesty, but they were never rearrested. About 24 people died during the attempted coup, with millions of Trinidad and Tobago dollars in property losses. Member of Parliament Leo de Vigny was killed. In late July that year, the court ruled that many properties owned by the Jamaat would be sold to make up the cost of destruction of buildings in the coup attempt. On March the 13th, an inquiry into the attempted coup found that the police service special branch held back intelligence that an insurrection by the Jamaat al-Muslimeen will take place. The losses due to arson and looting was estimated to be 450 million Trinidad and Tobago dollars.